Hi, everybody. It is Dr. Debbie Pates here. I set myself up outside, and now I'm seeing that I'm very much in the shadows, and you probably can't see me that well. But anyway, let's go with that. And let's do some yoga. Welcome to the day after Election Day when we still don't have election results. Um, you know what? Come on into child's pose while I'm talking. So um, make a choice if you want to have your knees wide or your knees together. Allow your head to rest on the mat. And if your knees are together, maybe you put your hands, the arms alongside your body, palms facing up. And if your knees are wide, you can have your hands stretched out in front of you. You could have your hands stretched out in front of you if your knees are together as well. And there's a lot of things that are striking me today. But first, I want to invite you guys to tap into your breath and just really take really deep breaths in and feel grounded on your mat, in your space. Feel your breath. Enjoy your breath. Still, COVID cases are rising, and one of the symptoms of COVID is impaired breathing. So please breathe deeply. Be in the present moment. Appreciate that beautiful breath coming in and out through your nose, nostrils if possible, mouth if necessary. Just breathe. So what really struck me was, man, our country is like divided 50-50 here, you know? And whichever side you're on, there's an equal number of people. Like really, there's an equal number of people on the other side. And rather than taking this stance of I'm right, everyone else is wrong, or we're right, everyone else is wrong, what if we could move toward, wow, there's 50% of this country that I don't understand that much. And whichever side you're on, I'm not taking a side here. But what I'm saying is you've got a big rift and you need to move toward healing. And you guys showing up on your mat and taking care of yourself. What a beautiful way to begin. What a beautiful way to begin healing, starting at home. Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Buddhist monk, says we can't love and take care of other people until we can first love and take care of ourselves. So start creating that understanding by working with and trying to understand yourself. I'm dedicating this practice today to a young woman I know who died. She used to take my yoga class. She was killed apparently in a car accident. I was actually going to meet her, have a session with her this evening. So she used to take my yoga class. She was my client. And she liked a really strong practice. Ours isn't going to be that strong, but I just want to send out energy to her and acknowledge her loss and the beauty of her life. Push up onto your hands and knees. Hands under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And begin to move through cat-cows, inhaling, lifting your gaze, letting your stomach drop. Exhaling, tucking your chin, tucking your tail, pushing up through your shoulders. And maybe moving with that beautiful, unimpeded breath. And sometimes in yoga, we can the cadence of our breathing changes, right? You get moving and your breath may speed up or slow down. But if you're finding that the freedom of your breath becomes impinged, and back off. Take a different version of the pose, one in which your breath can breathe and deep. And then come on back to neutral. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Come on into downward facing dog. So you might see my guest dog today. This is Hazel. She's a guest dog. She's a puggle. That's a cross between a pug and a beagle. Push your hands into the mat. I think she didn't now she's taking her. Here I am, showing you stuff. Push your hands into the mat, and with the action of pushing, lift your hips away. And then tune into what's going on with your shoulders and relax your shoulder blades on your back. Let your heels sink down toward the earth. Pull your navel in towards your spine. And as you do that, continue that lengthening from fingertip to tailbone. Check in with your neck. How's your neck? Is your neck just hanging there? How does it feel? Sometimes I like to bring my ears between my biceps and use the weight of my head to lengthen my neck in line with my spine. And breathe, of course, breathe. And then take a bunch of baby steps. Walk to the top of your mat and hang in ragdoll. Let your knees be soft. Check in with the backs of your legs. Check in with your feet on the ground. Check in with your stomach, your chest, your neck, your back. How are your arms? How's your head? And when I say how's your head, I also mean, where's your head space today? Big day, guys. It's okay to feel. Roll up to standing. Roll up to standing. It's okay to feel a little lightheaded, a little out of sorts. Roll your shoulders up and back and down 3 times. And let's do a little bit of standing neck rolls. So drop your chin to your chest. And begin to roll your head in one direction. And try to stay standing upright. We do this seated sometimes. And what happens a lot is people will lean over to the side their head is on. But it's not about getting to any particular depth. It's about stretching your neck. Check in with your shoulders, and as my shoulders tense up when I do this. When you get back to center, reverse your direction. Keep breathing. Notice any places where you might want to pause. This is your life, and this is your practice. Life is so precious and precarious. Please use this time of your yoga practice to tap into yourself, to get what you need out of it. And then come back to center with your head. Lift your arms up. Grab your left wrist with your right hand. Pull up. And then as you push your left hip out to the left, pull your left hand to the right. So your right hand is your bottom hand, and you're pulling. Try to keep your body sideways. You don't want to turn down to the earth. You're getting a side stretch. Come on back up. Separate your arms, reach up, inhale, grab your right wrist with your left hand and pull your right hand to the left as you push your right hip out, keeping your body open to the side, exposing armpits here. And then come on back to center. Separate your hands, bend your elbows, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift your heart, lift your heart. And then come on back up to center. Bring your palms together and pull your palms into your heart. So I dedicated this practice for myself, what I needed out of sending it out to the universe. Take a moment and dedicate your own practice, perhaps to being balanced yourself so that you can promote balance in the world, perhaps to understanding that other 50%, perhaps to something else that struck you. Let's move through some sun salutations. Come to the top of your space if you aren't there already. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Hands through heart center or swan dive. Halfway lift, lengthen, inhale. Forward fold, hands underneath your shoulders. Step back, high plank. Ideally, you want your feet at hip width, unless you have an animal you're working around, and then you work around it, right? That's the way life is. You work around obstacles. You don't need to get angry or reactive to them. You just accommodate, yeah? Hinge forward, shift, lower, chaturanga, tops of your toes, upward facing dog. Lift your hips, roll over your toes. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Breathe. Look to the top of your space and make your way there. Halfway lift, lengthen. Fold. Sweep up, rise. Hands overhead, palms together, and bring that energy into your heart. What if we could live from our hearts? Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold. Halfway up, high plank, chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Look in between your hands. Step to the top of your space, half lift. Forward fold. Sweep your arms out and up. Rise. Bring your hands together overhead. And pull that energy into your heart. One more sun A. Arms lift. Exhale, fall. Inhale up. Exhale, plank, and inhale and plank, and then exhale. Chaturanga. Inhale. Back bend. Lift your heart. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up into the air. Bend your knee. Open your hip. You can make circles, maybe making circles with your knee, circles with your ankle, and then bring your right leg up and put your foot down on the ground and switch sides. Lift up your left leg, bend your knee, open up your hip, make circles. It's not going to be a complicated practice today. Good God, life is complicated enough. Bring your left leg back up and put your leg down in downward facing dog, but complicated or uncomplicated doesn't mean it's not challenging. Look in between your hands, step to the top of your space, halfway lift, forward fold, bend your knees and rise to chair, Utkatasana. Knees bend up to 90 degrees, bringing your thighs parallel with the ground if you want. Check in with your body. Check in with how your low back is feeling. Check in with how your shoulders are feeling. And make whatever adjustments you need. So maybe you tuck your low ribs towards your pelvic bones a little bit. Maybe you sink down lower. Maybe you put your shoulder blades on your back and lower your hands. Maybe you don't need to make any of these adjustments because it felt fine where you were. And now inhale wherever you chose to be. And find stillness for a moment. Inhale. And then exhale. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Come up. Put your hands down and step back. High plank to low plank. Upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up and then step it through low lunge. Stay on your back heel toes. Keep your back heel lifted and rise up to crescent. So You could bend your front knee a lot here. Get a nice stretch in the front of your left leg. You can bend your left knee a lot. You're going to lose some of that stretch, but it might feel better in your low back. And then bring your torso over your thigh and your arms behind you, airplane arms. Palms facing the earth, engage. Engage from crown of your head to fingertips to left heel. Right heel is pushing into the ground, grounding you, and then come on back up. Crescent lunge. Spin your heel flat, open up, warrior two. Right arm is reaching forward. Right knee tracking over your pinky toe. Engage your triceps, engage the backs of your arms. Engage your breath. Notice your shoulders are working, but they don't need to be earmuffs. And then reach forward, extended side angle. Left arm high. Use your bottom arm as leverage to open your heart. Open your heart. Open your heart. Bring your left bicep by your left ear. Palm facing the floor. Reaching, creating space. Sink into your right knee even more. And then turn your torso down. Bring your left hand down. Come up on your left toes and twist. Bring your right arm up to the sky. Right arm up to the sky. Breathing, opening, letting it feel good. And then bring your right arm down. Step back, high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. And lift your left leg up. And step it through low lunge. Keep your right heel lifted and rise crescent lunge. And let's land here. So this is the pose. We're not moving anywhere anytime soon. I mean, we're not staying here all day, yeah, but so find it. Bend in the left knee. Stretch in the right hip flexor. Taking care of your low back by bending the right knee as much as you need. Now, torso over your thigh, bring your arms back behind you, airplane pose. And just hang out here, creating space, creating length. Maybe tuck your low ribs in a little bit. Maybe push through your right heel as you reach through the crown of your head. And then come on back up and open up into warrior two. Left arm reaches forward. Left knee out towards your pinky toe. Yeah, both pinky toe. Right arm reaching back. And then reach forward, forward, forward. Length, space, strength, extended side angle. Roll your heart open. Always working to open our hearts to ourselves, to other people. Bring your right bicep by your ear and reach. Space. Reach, maybe you'll even get a pop, and then bring your hand down, right hand down, come up on right toes, lift your left arm, twist. You can look up at your arm if that feels good to you. If it doesn't, look down at your neck. Breathing, opening, and then left hand down, step back, high plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Look to the top of your space and make your way there. Halfway lift. Fold. Bend your knees. Rise to chair. And then stand up. Bring your hands together. And bring your hands into your heart. Let's flow through that with a little bit of a shift. Arms up. Chair. Balance. Fold. Halfway lift. Step back, high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg and bring it through for a low lunge. rise to crescent, airplane torso. Inhale, rise, warrior two. Extended side angle, and then just bring your arm down to the floor, come up on your left toes. Lift your right arm, twist, bring your right arm down, step back, high plank. We'll actually do a shift in it next time. Make your way to downward facing dog, and then lift your left leg up, low lunge, rise to crescent. Torso forward, arms back, airplane, engage, rise up, warrior two, reach, extended side angle, and keep coming down, up onto your toes, lift your left arm, twist, and then bring your left hand down, high plank to low plank, upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Walk your feet in a little bit closer to your hands and take your left hand and grab behind your right knee. So put your left hand underneath your body and grab behind your right knee. And then if you can, look up over under your right armpit. And if you can, walk your hand lower, maybe towards your ankle, your heel, but don't lift your heel to fake it. It doesn't matter how far you go. You're just wanting the integrity of the twist. Release and switch sides. Right hand goes under your body, grab behind your left knee, and then maybe you have space to walk your hand down further. Maybe you don't. It doesn't say anything about who you are as a person. It's just a hand position. Put your right hand down, look in between your hands, and make your way to the top of your space. Lengthen, inhale, fold, exhale. Utkatasana, chair, forward fold. Halfway lift up, step back, high plank. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up, crescent lunge. Airplane torso, and this time, you knew it, airplane. Launch yourself. And that energy, that engagement, is part of what's going to help you find this pose, find the balance, right? So your leg is lifting itself. The back of your body is very engaged. You might even think about a little bit of up dog in your torso. And then carefully step back, two, crescent lunge, open up, warrior two. Flip your palm and take a reverse warrior. Right knee going forward, right arm going back. Left hand can come down on your leg, or maybe it goes behind your back, whatever feels good to you. And then come on back, extended side angle. And then left hand down, up on left toes, right arm up. Take the twist. And hands on the inside of your right foot, runner's lunge. Drop your left knee. Toe heel, your right foot up toward the top of the mat and sink down. Sink down to whatever degree you can, which might be nothing. But let something go. Let something go. Let something drop. We're looking for balance. We're not looking for extremism. God knows we need less of that, right? We need less of that. We need to find balance. 50% of our country feels one way very strongly. 50% of our country feels a different way very strongly. Who's right? I know now you're like, I am. But you know, I feel the same way, right? But that's not the right answer. It's how do we find balance? And I'm not saying certain things are right, because certain things are not right. But we don't create relationships through force. Not with our bodies, and not with other people. Come on up if you were down. Tuck your left toes, lift your left knee, step back, high plank. Lower chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up. Bend your knee and bring it through, low lunge. Keep your right heel lifted, rise to crescent. And get ready, find some buoyancy, launch into airplane. And again, lift. Lift through your back body. Lift. Use the muscles that are there. Counteract gravity. Fingertips, toes, crown ahead. And then step back, crescent to warrior two. Flip your left palm and reverse your warrior. Reach back, really reach with your hand. Reach forward with your knee. Look up if it's okay for your neck. Look down if it's not. Breathe. And then extended side angle. Just a breath, moving through. Left hand down. Take the right hand down. Sorry, left hand up. Take the twist. And then left hand inside a left foot. Drop your right knee. Runner's lunge. Breathe. So think about this, right? Relationships do not flourish under abusive conditions. That's called domestic violence, right? Or domestic abuse, or some version of that, bullying, right? That's not how relationships thrive, not with ourselves and not with other people. So I always am encouraging you guys on the mat, don't listen to me. I mean, hear my words, but listen to your body, because you want to have a respectful relationship with your body. You don't want to jam your own agenda down your body's throat. That's how we get injured. So, just massage that analogy over to the state of our country right now. We don't forge relationships through contention or calling each other idiots. Something's going on, guys. All right, come on up. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. Left leg back to meet your right. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. To downward facing dog. Breathe. Look in between your hands and make your way to the top of your space. Halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, Utkatasana. Stand up. Bring your hands together overhead and bring your hands into your heart. Sweep your arms up and bend your knees again, chair pose. Let's take eagle. Right arm under, right leg up and over. Bring your elbows in line with your shoulders. Move your hands away from your face. Really round through your shoulder blades. You don't have to worry about balance. If you don't feel balanced, you guys, God, I sure as hell don't. Put your toes on the ground. You are not a bad person. Sink lower. Lift arms higher. Lift your chest. Sometimes they teach this pose. Your upper body, your back is as if it's sliding down an imaginary wall behind you. And that's a lot of stomach engagement to make that happen. And then release. Stand up. Left arm under. Bend your right knee. Left leg up and over. If it works for your body, bring your elbows in line with your shoulders. If it works for your body, move your hands away from your face. If it works for your body, balance. If you're not balancing well today, put your toes on the ground. Breathe. Whatever you're doing, breathe and let it be okay, because it doesn't make any sense to fight something you're choosing to do. Unwind, stand up, dancer. Bring your left elbow to your right rib cage. Drop your hand behind you, grab your left foot, bring your knees together and kick. Kick into your hand. Reach forward. Let's find some grace. Let's find some grace in this world, in this country. Grace for yourself. Life is very, very precarious and can be quite challenging and confusing. Give yourself grace. People, release and rotate. Left arm up, right elbow by your ribs. Let your arm drop down. Lift, bend your knee. Grab your foot from the inside, bring your knees back together, kick and reach, kick and reach. Kick and reach. Back bend, a heart opener, a balance. Challenging your breath. Challenging your equanimity. And then release. And because it's autumn, this glorious season, Vrikshasana, tree pose. Weight in your left foot. And go to tree. And make a hand position. So make a choice. You can have your hands at your heart. You can interlace your fingers and turn your palms up toward the sky. You can spread your branches. You can even sway, maybe, side to side, finding suppleness, right? Trees sway in the breeze. Very seldom do they break. Suppleness. That's the sukha. Hands to your heart, if they weren't there already, and switch sides. Both feet on the ground, and then weight in your right foot, tree pose. Left foot comes to somewhere inside your left leg. Take a hand position. So I know you guys have heard me say this before from the Yoga Sutras, Stira Sukha. Stira is the strength, but the sukha is the suppleness. You don't want strength that's rigid. That breaks. That's brittle. Don't be brittle. Release. Let's do a little bit more flowing here. Come to the top of your space again. And inhale your arms up. Exhale, chair pose. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Inhale, exhale, hands down, step back, high plank, to chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Right leg step, spin your back foot flat, rise to warrior one. Trying to orient your hips toward the front of your mat, trying. It's all, again, a relationship of gentleness, not force. We're trying. Clasp your hands behind your back. Yes, it's humble warrior. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and open up your heart. And send out the desire for understanding to all of that other 50%. I'm not trying to harden my heart against you. I really want to know how you feel. I really want to understand how we can heal this country together. Bow with humility to be able to hear that message. Right shoulder to the inside of your right knee. Arms come off your head, off your back, over your head. Rise back up. Warrior two. Straighten your right knee, reach forward. Let's come on into triangle. And we're going to spend a little bit of time here today, so take it slowly. Get your Legs are straight, your right foot's facing forward, your left foot is angled in. You're reaching the crown of your head forward and your hips back. We've done a bunch of this kind of spinal lengthening already. Your right arm is down, maybe leverage again, and perhaps you lift your left arm up. You can look down at your right foot, you can look up at your left hand. If you look up at your left hand, you want to have your thumb actually sort of directly over your face so that your arms are in a T. So what would you need to do? We're not going to stay here for a whole lot longer, but if we stayed here for another hour, which we won't, what would you need to do to make this more bearable for yourself? How would you need to be able to stay present without becoming reactive? Find that. Make those micro adjustments. Maybe you don't need to. I don't know. Come on up. Turn your feet parallel or pigeon-toed. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Open the heart and bow. Bow. Grab onto your big toes or your heels or whatever you could grab onto. Roll the weight into your balls of your feet. Breathe. Engage your quadriceps. Engage your stomach. Let the front of your body take care of your back body. And then come on up halfway. Bring your hands to your hips, elbows up. Inhale, rise to standing. Warrior 2 to the front of your mat. Reverse your warrior. And come on down. Chaturanga to downward facing dog. No rush. I give you the direction, I don't give you the pace. So we're not in a hurry. Downward facing dog. And then step your left foot through, spin your right foot flat, and rise up, warrior 1. Find warrior 1. Trying to get your hip points facing forward. Reaching up as you ground down. So maybe bending into your knee, but keeping your hands, trying to keep them where they were. And then clasp your hands behind your back, opposite grip. If you remember which one you did, open your heart and ask, well, you don't have to ask anybody, but you say, may I have the ability to speak my voice, speak what I need to say. And may I have the ability to say what I need to say in a way that other people can hear while I am simultaneously hearing them. And then bow with the humility to make that happen. Right foot is flat, left shoulder is inside of your left knee. Maybe you're reaching your arms up over your head. And then rise up. Warrior 2, straighten your left knee. Trikonasana. Left arm forward as you stick your right hip out. And then tilt. So find this pose. Find it. Don't just go into, this is what I always do. Right? I think that this is what I always do. Maybe kind of where we've gotten as a country these days, and we need to start playing around with how can I do things differently, and that's for both sides of that, because we're going to self-destruct if we don't. Come on up from triangle, turn your feet sideways, clasp your hands behind your back, lift your heart, and bow. Release your hands. You guys are not going to like me for this, but we're going to come from right here into frog. So kind of with your feet out where they are, what you want to do is bring your hands just sort of in a weird down dog, but not even that far forward. And then bring your knees down to the earth. And you want to have, we're not going into child's pose, you want to have your feet right behind your knees. Okay? And then you're gonna, and you want to be as wide as you can. So as always, don't look at me and say that's what your body should look like. This is just what my body looks like. So if you know frog, you're in frog already, but you want to kind of sink your hips back a drop and lower. So if you can lower all the way to your chest being on the ground, do that. You lower to whatever you can. You unclench your teeth. Unclench your teeth. And breathe into the discomfort. Breathe into the sensation. And in fact, what if we shift from defining it as discomfort to simply calling it sensation? Breathe into the sensation. It's unfamiliar maybe. Does that make it wrong? Sometimes it is wrong, right? If you feel a sharp pain or a pop, it's probably bad. But discomfort is part of life. You never got to guarantee that it's going to be easy. But what we can do is work on our own reactivity, our own responses. We do not control what happens. I don't know, I haven't checked the news in a while for my own sanity, but maybe we have a new president or a decided president. And none of us control that aside from our one vote or maybe doing get out the vote stuff, but you know what I mean. But what we can do is control the way we react. You'll have your initial woohoo or aw. But where do you go from there? Because that's what we have control over. Even if there's waves of helplessness or waves of whatever else. Okay, so to come out of this, when I first started doing frog, I needed to crawl onto my belly. If you need to crawl onto your belly, do that. Otherwise, you can kind of push yourself up and come back into that wide-legged forward fold. And if you have to go on your belly, just make your way there. And then come on, stand up. Arms out. Warrior two to the front of your mat. Reverse. Down dog. Let's do another hip opener that is a lot more popular. Pigeon. Right knee behind your right wrist. Left knee walks back. And make your way to your expression of this posture today. So again, remember, I've given you in the past a lot of different options. You could sit over on your right hip. You could play around with how far out your knee is, the right knee. How high up your right foot is. But let your head rest. If you look at me, I don't always demonstrate this, or I never demonstrate this with my head resting pretty much because I'm talking to you. But you want to let your head rest. On the ground, on your fists. Drop your brain. You don't always have to be planning. You don't always have to know all the answers. In fact, most of the time we don't. Be present. Be with the people you love. I don't know. What we got, I guess. Come on up. Come back to downward facing dog. Switch sides. Left knee behind your left wrist. Pigeon. Make your way down. We're human beings. We have opinions. We have beliefs. We have reactions. We like some people better than others. But I'm not sure. I mean, there's certain more concrete, right or wrong kind of things, but I don't know that in a lot of these things we are right. I just don't know. I'm really grappling with this. I just don't know. Yes, there are certain things. It's clear. so much of what we feel that we are right about. Come back to downward facing dog. And then from downward facing dog, drop your knees on the ground. Walk your body forward a little bit. We're coming into hero's pose. So separate your feet wider than your hips. Try to sit your butt down. And if you can, walk back. We're doing a lot of heart opening positions today. Making the shape of our body have a more open heart. We're also opening our quadriceps here. Make you feel a stretch through your stomach, through your psoas, your shoulders. Just tuning into what's showing up in your body. While opening your heart, you must soften it. Letting go of rigidity. Come on back up. Onto your hands and knees. Lift your right leg out, shake it a little bit, and then lift your left arm. And then bend your left knee, right knee, sorry, and reach back with your left hand. Grab your right foot. If you can, have your thumb facing up. So if you grab your foot on the big toe side, just kind of scoot your hand over your foot. And this way you can open up your shoulder a little bit more. But you don't have to do that. Release. Switch sides. Left leg out. Shake it a little bit. Right arm out. Bend your left knee. Reach back with your right hand. And again, try to have your thumb facing up on the pinky toe side of your foot. Maybe lift. Maybe you stretch. Maybe you unclench your teeth. And then release. Come back up onto your knees. Ustrasana, camel pose. So you can have your feet, your knees rather, directly underneath your hips. You can have your knees a little bit wider. You could have your feet parallel. You can have your feet coming together. Bring your hands onto your low back. Oh, you can also tuck your toes. Bring your elbows toward each other. Keep your hips and your knees in line. Begin to lift your heart. Lift your heart. Sometimes I like to kind of grab onto my rib cage and just gently coax my ribs up, keeping my hips forward. You can grab your heels if that works for your body. Open your heart, breathe, and then come on down, untuck your toes. Just sit down, just sit on your heels. Nothing fancy, just sit on your heels. One more time. Stand up on your knees and just go right into it. Camel. Pick the version that works in your body today. Maybe the version that generally works in your body. Maybe the version that works in your body right now. And take a few breaths in this posture. And then come on down. And again, sit on your heels. And then cross your feet behind you. And bring your legs out in front of you. Let's do Dandasana first, staff pose. So flex your feet and grab onto your right thigh. Have your right hand underneath your right thigh and your left hand kind of on the inside of it. And flex your muscle and sort of take your leg up and rotate your thigh bone, thigh muscle in a little bit. Your right hand is picking up. And you might even notice that your foot, you're actually trying to rotate the bone. So your foot might stick up even more. And then take your left hand and do the same thing. Left hand on the outside, right hand on the inside. And then gently take your leg and rotate that bone so your sits bones widen. And then place your palms flat on the ground as best as you can. And just sit up straight. You might even flex your feet so much that your heels come off the ground. Breathe. You sort of in this position have every muscle from your neck down engaged. And then keep that engagement. Lift your arms up. You Come forward, trying to get the crown of your head beyond your feet, beyond your toes. But don't, I'm sort of doing it actually. Don't hyperextend your shoulders just to get your feet, get your hands on your feet. Bring your shoulder blades back and let your hands fall wherever they do. And then maybe you use your breath to actually lengthen your spine. Maybe you can claw your hands forward, but again, it isn't about looking a certain way. It's about getting the benefit of these shapes in your own body. And we only have so much energy. And I think a lot of us are pretty tired right now between election and COVID and everything else that's going on in our life, like somebody dying that's really, really, really not supposed to have died. And we get tired. And sometimes it feels great to push your body. And yeah, I definitely had a hard run this morning. But sometimes it feels good to back off. Put in less energy into that to marshal our strength for the rest of the stuff. Come on back up. And keep rolling. Lay down onto your back. A little bit more heart opening. Bring your feet flat on the ground, close to your butt. And let's start with a wheel, or a bridge. So push into your feet and lift your hips. Maybe clasp your hands behind your back and walk your shoulder blades toward each other. Try to keep your feet about parallel. Push in. Push in, lean in, if you can. Maybe you're not there. We need to figure out how we show up most authentically. Release. Knock your knees in together. Widen your feet a little bit. You can even kind of wiggle around. And then a wheel or a back bend. We're going to do two more. So a wheel, I meant, a wheel is a back bend. I meant bridge or wheel. So put yourself in the position, and when you're ready, push up. And then release. Let your knees move from side to side. And then one last time, position, bridge, or wheel, go. Be kind to yourself, you know. Trust me, I know it's not always easy. And release. Bring your soles of your feet together, knees open wide. And maybe again rock back and forth. And maybe put one hand on your belly and the other hand on your heart. Breathe deeply, feeling your belly rising and falling, feeling your heart beating. And then simply bring your knees up. Drop both knees to one side and turn yourself to the other side. Spinal twist. Make any adjustments that you like in your body. Switch sides again. Going back to center in Shavasana. We've got a few minutes here. That was by design. Because I really want you, if you can stay until 1 o'clock, and I'm going to watch the clock for you. Give yourselves a couple of minutes. This is called corpse pose, but we are very much alive. And sometimes that being alive can be painful. So we do our yoga. And we practice equanimity in difficult times. And we unclench our jaw. And we relax those scrunched up muscles at our eyes. And we do our best to take off our mask even as we wear a mask. Be here and be real. Our time is so fleeting. Yesterday I was looking in the New Yorker magazine and I found a poem. I thought it was really beautiful and I took a picture of it, and I kind of had an idea of, anyway, I didn't think I'd be sharing this poem with you guys today, but I'm going to. It's by Margaret Atwood and it's called Flatline. Things wear out. Also fingers. Gnarling sets in. Your hands crouch in their mittens. Forget chopsticks and buttons. Feet have their own agenda. They scorn your taste in shoes and ignore your trails, your maps. Ears are superfluous. What are they for, those alien pink flaps? Skull fungus. The body, once your accomplice, is now your trap. Sunrise makes you wince, too bright, too flamingo. After a lifetime of tangling, of knotted snares and lacework, purple headspace tornadoes with their heart race and rubble, you crave the end of mazes. You pray for a white shore, an ocean with its horizon, not so much bliss, but a flat line you steer for. No more hiss and slosh, no reefs, no deeps, no throat rattle of gravel. It sounds like this. We're right at the top of the hour. I'm going to leave you here today in corpse pose with the invitation to awaken in any way that feels appropriate to you. Even if you're just going to sit up, roll your mat up, and hurry on with your day, please do so with some mindfulness, with some degree of presence. Please smile at people and love them. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be in my office next week, but I'll be on my mat noon on Wednesday.